What is going on, everybody? We are back once again with another edition of Wrestling Republic's Off the Air, immediately following NXT. Every week, it's the Great American Bash. This week, we're a little late on 4th of July. That was a little earlier, but we're getting close to the 4th of July, so we might as well celebrate it. I'm excited about it. Let's get into it. I've got the usual suspects, the best crew in the game, hanging out with me. First and foremost, I'm going to send this one out to the DMV, and that is not the Department of Motor Vehicles. That is DC, Maryland, Virginia. For the Tuesday Night Delight, get your twos up for Shoddy. Big day for you today, Shad. How many shows?
Yeah, man, Mr. Tuesday himself. Three shows today, man. Hosted the daily. Did take it to the table. It's gonna be a dope episode. I'm excited for y'all to see that. Me and Jordy had a nice little debate. Went to court. Talked a little bit about SummerSlam. And then yeah, I'm here tonight, man. I'm tired, but I'm excited, man. A great American Bash, America, all that patriotic stuff.
Always stoked to have you. Shoddy's got 3 shows. I only have one phones, but let's send it out to Louisville, Kentucky. To the guy we should do, what is it? No matter which time of day it is? Driz?
Good morning, afternoon, and evening. It's the guy you should believe in. It is your boy Drizzy, aka Plug Funny, aka the Wrestling Plug. If you don't know what to watch because you don't know how to get into this, hit me up. I got you.
Absolutely stoked to have you both. Always, Bobby's got his twos up too for everybody. It's Tuesday night. We're stoked to be here, tired or not. Let's talk about a main event. We had a women's title match. We have Roxanne. We got Thea Hale. Probably the youngest title match I've ever covered in my short lifetime of covering professional wrestling. Their combined age is only 9 years older than my total actual age.
Damn.
That's that was a tough one. That was a tough pill to swallow. Um, uh, you know, when they're breaking down the card out of the gates, but an awesome match all around. Thea Hale has been a standout. Roxanne Perez has come on and been amazing as champion. Drizzy, I'm going to go to you first. Roxanne retains, but Thea showed she can hang. I think the future is bright for both of these women. In a weird way, I wish this felt like it was a bigger deal than it did in the moment, and that'd be my only complaint. It was a huge deal. It is a main event match. It is the Great American Bash, but I feel like Thea deserved more uh, on her end when it comes to this match with Roxanne, especially given the age factor. You do not see two blue chip prospects this young face off for the first time in a main event, and it doesn't feel like, you know, headline worthy news. I'm not totally sure what you think about it, but I got to ask you.
First off, there are certain people when you think of certain pay-per-views, you automatically associate them with it. When you think of war games, you automatically think of the Undisputed Era. When you think of Stand and Deliver, you think of like Carmelo Hayes. You think of yeah, Trick Williams to a certain extent now lately, but you associate different pay-per-views with different wrestlers. And I truly believe that when you think of the Great American Bash, you think of Thea Hale. With
Yeah.
now in losing fashion, yes, but you can't say that she doesn't put on some of the best performances. She truly taps into that underdog, that Sami Zayn, that you are hoping and praying that she pulls it off because it's been such a journey to get there. And tonight was no different. Thea Hale absolutely shown that in the top five of those women, she's always in that top five. Even it doesn't matter what class it is. Of all the women that have come through NXT, she's still in that top five every single time. I definitely believe that she was one step away from winning this match tonight. If they run this back again, I truly believe she's got it. Thea Hill would beat Roxanne if she just has one more chance.
I love that take, Driz, because I also love what you said about the Great American Bash. It fits Thea perfectly. The energy, the shaking the ropes, a la Ultimate Warrior, but in her own way, firing herself up. It fits her aesthetic. It fits her personality. The PLE as a whole, it's not a PLE technically or whatever. I guess it's a, a
Special.
special finger quotes show, but it fits her aesthetic perfectly. And I would love, 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 love to see her break a record and become the youngest NXT Women's World Champion. I would be all over that. Shad, I got to get your thoughts on the very same match and the prospect of Thea Hill maybe checking her name into that hotel as far as the record books is concerned when it comes to youngest NXT Women's Champion of all time.
I don't know what the hell y'all talking about, man. It's Roxanne Perez, bro. It's Roxanne Perez. I don't know why we acknowledging the loot. I'm just joking around. First and foremost, kudos to Thea Hill. She's one person on that roster that is pretty underrated, if you ask me. I know the character work and just the spunkiness and like the scrappy dude personality is one that's always fun and great character wise, but sometimes you forget how good of a worker that she is. And she's a hooper, man. She could definitely put on a show and give you great matches. She does it anytime she's displayed, and the light is not too bright for her when it comes to big time matches, whether it's on a PLE or like a premium show like tonight for Great American Bash. She comes up, she shows out, and it would be cool to see her at some point, get that record being the youngest NXT Women's Champion. So I'm not saying that it isn't far fetched. Not saying it can happen. We'll have to wait and see. But if if she made a case for herself, she definitely made a case for herself tonight. But I just gotta say, man, Roxanne Perez is on a different level. It's crazy how great of a year she's having. I every time I see her step into the ring, I'm just wowed and amazed how great she is as an in-ring competitor, and it's something that is not unnoticed to the world of professional wrestling. That's not even just on NXT. Like, I don't think there's many women on the planet that are better than her bell for bell as an in-ring wrestler. She's really like etching a one of one territory at some point. Like her, Io Sky, Saray, and Japan. Like a couple of them women are really putting in a lot of work this year when it comes to in ring, and I just gotta give her like her flowers every week, every time it happens because the playing field and the dance partners she has are different than everyone else's. She's doing it with different flavors every week, different styles, and she's able to give you a great match as well as just that arrogant, conceited heel that she is at the moment. I don't think there's a lot of chinks in her armor when it comes to being a champion now, and she's I haven't felt this like joyful for a women's champion maybe since like the Oscar reign. To be honest with you, like I don't think we've had a like it feels like a nice dominant champion in a little while on the NXT brand. And yeah, man, she's levels above a lot of women, and she's making girls step up to get on a level. Like Thea Hill stepped up and made a great show and another great match for a phenomenal year for Miss Perez.
I am totally with you, and I will say Roxanne deserves a pop, and she rocks. Da-da, got him. Yes, I was so excited about that one. I knew it. I had that one just locked and loaded. No, I'm with you. Sincerely, how much work she's put in deserves her flowers for this year. Bell to bell, it's off the charts. What she's done this match, I just thought was unique, right? I'm a stats guy when it comes to this huge sports fan, right? You don't usually see two just prospects like
Yeah,
this.
young. Yeah.
This
Young
young, I mean,
too.
this is a rivalry that could last years, and it's one of those that I actually feel like might end up being a trivia question down the road.
Yeah, I can
When
see that.
did Thea Hale and Roxanne Perez first wrestle
Mm,
in a main event match for a title? And we might be the only three plus the audience that remember it. I'm not
right.
saying
There'll
that,
be a
but
And
handful. There'll be a handful of people that'll know. There are a
by the
handful.
time they've written the full
I,
story, my point on that.
and it and my hope is this though, since we are moving to CW in the coming fall, that you know, I know this is a development brand, and without a doubt it is, right? You've seen a lot of young talent develop week upon week, but like I feel like they could still be a staple show in a sense too, because you wanna garner viewers when you get to a new TV
I mean, this
program, and it's good to have young stars on your television program.
to your
I
point,
wouldn't just poach people so quickly either.
correct me if I'm wrong. This was on Sci-Fi Tonight.
Yeah, it
Yes.
was on Sci-Fi, the
Yeah,
worst
So
television
imagine.
channel of all
which
time.
former ECW network. But I will say
Bruh,
this:
Sci-Fi, they put in all these pictures in the middle of like,
but the
come
network
on,
doesn't
man.
matter as much. I don't think
No,
as
I
it's
know. I'm just saying for
and
today's
I
show, it
and
it
it
threw
was
me off a lot of times
and it was
that
a
did
that
weird and it was weird picture in pictures because it would completely go to the actual full screen commercial, but then come back to picture in picture. Like that kind
yeah.
of takes you out of the match. Like that happened in another match
it's
tonight too.
very
That
good point.
For
really you
the
missed
six
the bulk
women's
of it.
match. The
Is
six
it?
Yeah.
women's
Is it?
match.
Did I miss something? And this was the debut Sci-Fi show
No, this is
No,
because of the
actually,
Olympics.
yes, yeah, it's
last
because
week.
No, this week is
this
the
week.
first one. This week and next week.
Yeah, so this week was the first one.
Like basically
Yeah.
WWE's been on is gonna be on Sci-Fi this week and next week.
It was like that on Raw a little bit last night too.
Yep.
Was Raw on Sci-Fi?
Yeah,
Yes.
Wow.
because of the
The
Olympics.
go home show for SummerSlam was on Sci-Fi.
And they did all right. They got 1.5 million.
Well,
After
I
people
didn't
figured
watch
out where
Raw.
Sci-Fi was, if they even had that
I mean,
package.
my views don't count though. I bootleg everything.
Yeah,
So.
I didn't watch Raw, but I did. I mean, so it's Sci-Fi. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm not gonna lie. I feel shocked.
you should.
I'm shocked. I'm in
You should.
shock.
You should.
I feel completely shocked by that. And honestly, I think we do have to move on from the main event with that. Yeah, no, I can't talk anymore about Sci-Fi. I'm just gonna make jokes about zombies and about ECW and about sci-fi movies in general. Maybe even a Comic-Con joke I might slide in. And it's not. I don't. No, no. We're moving on. We're going to talk about the women's tag team title match between the Unholy Union, Alba Fire and Isla Dawn, and Metaphor, Jakara Jackson, and Lash Legend.
Yes, sir.
I thought as good of a challenger tag team as you could possibly have for the Unholy Union. Unfortunately, I didn't get the result that I wanted, but that's neither here nor there. Shad, I got to ask you about the match and the future of the women's tag title pictures because it does feel like at this point, as long as we've at least on this show properly highlighted relevant women's tag teams within the division, as well
Hmm.
as pointed out flaws in the women's tag system that can be solved by the NXT roster. This was
Yeah.
an opportunity to get after that. Did you feel like this was a stone unturned having Metaphor take the loss to the Unholy Union?
Not. I mean, it helps them display them. I don't think anything was anything bad per se to it. I think you accomplished two things tonight. The main criticism is that the Unholy Union have been champions and they haven't had any title defenses. You give them a title defense, you get them a successful win. That's solid. And then you give Metaphor, Jakara, and Lash a premier match, and an opportunity to showcase what they can do against, main roster talent as well as champions. And I think they look great tonight in defeat. I think Jakara Jackson, more so to me, was the person that I was impressed with because I haven't seen her get an opportunity to show what she can do as an in-ring competitor because she's kind of out on the side, kind of being more of a sidekick character in the stance, and you kind of got to see a little bit of what she could do as a wrestler, and I thought she did pretty well tonight. Um, and yeah, to your point, the state of the tag division is it felt more natural tonight on
alive.
NXT than it does on main roster. I don't know what it is. I feel like the pacing of matches are a lot more fun. It's a lot more quick. You have a more intimate setting maybe too. People are more excited and hyped for the match compared to like where you get crickets on Raw or SmackDown sometimes when the matches, and I thought it was good. I like the Unholy Union a lot. Uh, and my criticism has never been about them as a tag team. I think they're a solid tag team. I actually really like Kaylee Ray, Alba Fire a lot. I was a big
Yes.
fan of her when she was at NXT UK, and I think Aladon is definitely someone I would like to watch on my television screen every single week if given an opportunity.
I
But
completely agree, Shad. No, and that's kind of like where I was going with this is like we have an established team that's really
mhm.
good. They get the win. We're really unsure of where they're going on the main roster. It seems like all the best matchups, at least in my eyes, are down here on NXT. We have an established team in
Well,
Metaphor that's a legitimate, and I don't want to say down here. That's that. Let me take that back. Let me rephrase that. Over here on
yeah,
NXT,
for sure. Yeah,
right?
you got and it's like that because the emphasis of women's wrestling is um more of a focal point on NXT than it is on the main roster. So that's always going to be the case. I do think there's more premier like tag teams on the main roster. They're just not booked to that level. I mean, honestly, I'll be
Actually, a lot of them are put together teams. By the
See,
yeah.
and I know we made this point last week. There were three initial tag teams in WWE, women's tag teams in WWE. The K's, Casey and Caden,
Mhm.
the Unholy Union, and Metaphor.
yeah.
So I really feel like Metaphor should have got this match, this win. But I understand you're trying to build up these titles, and it doesn't. You don't do that just hot potato in between three teams. And I know they're bringing in new teams with damage control. The I almost did it. I almost did it. I almost did it.
S line.
Sonya Zoe and Shayna, whatever
Yep.
we're calling them. But
Their
they're
name.
bringing in more teams. But initially, these tag teams, those three initial tag teams, all were in NXT. So I feel like they need to those belts need to come down to NXT a lot more. Even now, we're building tag teams down over in NXT with Jasmine and JC. Um, Soul and Carmen are teaming a lot more now, and I know,
Yes.
and eventually we're gonna be getting Tatum Paxley and Wendy Chu as a team. So you're getting good teams made down here. So
It,
let's bring these belts down here more often, and opposed to once every 4 months, every 12 months, because that's what it feels like. Like, what was the last women's match, tag division title match in NXT?
it's so true, and it's a lot how I'm feeling too, because you look at the women's tag title picture as a whole, and there's so much talent, right?
Mhm.
There's only one that if you're going to the Garden and you got to put it on the marquee,
Yeah.
that's
No.
Bianca and Jade, and we
Yeah,
Yeah.
for
all know
sure.
that. That's
For
it.
Mhm.
sure.
There's only
Yep.
one. There's only
But
one of
but
those.
but I've always my issue with Bianca and Jade is not Bianca and Jade. I think they look absolutely amazing as a unit. I think their chemistry is there, and it's not a chemistry just in the ring, but they look like they can, be a team. They gel together. They talk together. They haven't, but it's just the fact that there hasn't been an emphasis on the tag division, and I'm selfish, bro. I want my girl
No,
Bianca Belair in the title picture for the
uh,
WWE Women's Championship at all times.
I'm
So
100% with you
I'm
on
not
that.
fulfilled. My hunger is not fulfilled if I'm not seeing B with the uh in
With
the
the
main event
shot to win
picture.
the title. I
Yeah,
100% hear you. I just if we're talking specifically women's tag belt picture, right? That we'll put Jade and Bianca in their own special category there because of the fact that they're the put your name on a poster, right? And
yeah,
faces as well. Alba, the Unholy Union, has proven that they're really high quality champions. They
they're
are. We
and they're
know how good they are, especially us, as much as we've seen them on NXT.
they're a
The
good tag
depth,
team too.
though, of the women's tag division as a whole, if we remove brand loyalty,
It's
the
What
pool, the
what you
pool
can
is
do
built
because it's a
over on
floating belt.
NXT.
Yeah,
hmm
what you
Is
could do
is
because it's a
kind of what
floating
I'm
belt.
trying to say, right? Shot is
Yeah,
like the
yeah, I
pool,
agree.
the pool of talent for challengers outside of the one, the
Yeah.
one match that makes the most crazy sense, right?
Hmm.
The pool of challengers is all on NXT because it's
So
not just Metaphor. There's multiple teams. Like we talked about Carmen and Soul. We talked about right. Like I mean, teaming up and forming different stuff that actually feels more organic than some of the main roster thrown together stuff when it
yeah,
comes to the women's tag division as a whole. I
so
guess is what I'm getting at.
no, so my issue is not my issue with the women's tag division has never been with the teams. I think the teams are there, like to your point. It's just how you book it, and to
Yeah.
your to what you said. That's the one title that's not brand associated. It's a floating belt, so like you saw tonight, they can come to NXT, defend it, and you can. They've done that previously. I think they should do that more regularly. Especially the thing is this, right? The Unholy Union don't get any TV time, and they've literally had tag team feuds that don't associate the tag team champions. That's stupid. That is the dumbest stuff that you could possibly do. Let them do something. They're talented women. Like they look like a good unit, and they can work. I mean that's where I'm at with it.
I totally hear you. And I mean, it, to me, it's a problem with tag team wrestling. Period. It's not just the women's.
Yeah.
On the men's side, it's an issue.
it's
There's a
you're
depth of division problem.
you're right, but I feel like it is. You're right, but I feel like it's even more ignored because it's women.
I would agree with you 100% on that.
Yeah.
Yes.
I feel like
Yes.
it's like, oh, we only have so much time for all this. We can't put
A
all this,
thousand percent. I'm in
but we
agreement on that.
literally had at Wrestle the women's tag titles weren't on WrestleMania, were they?
For no reason.
But we had a whole
Last
6-man
year.
tag. This past in the last few years, the women's tag titles have not been on WrestleMania. But this
Not
year,
only that, you had Jade and Bianca perform as a team and win that big tag, the six women's tag that you're discussing. The most logical team to stand tall, holding women's tag titles.
like, what would have
Yeah.
been? Would it really have been that hard to have
You want to talk
Damage
about a
Control
stone left
versus
unturned.
that? And honestly, to Clark's point of the pool for women's tag titles is built in NXT. At this point, I really feel like those women's titles just need to be NXT titles.
Yeah. That's kind of, and I
I
don't want to make them brand exclusive though, because I actually think that makes it cooler, but have them consistently defended
Hmm.
and use it in a cool way for cross promotion to build steam behind the
The,
titles
the
for both
the
brands.
the issue with that is that you're gonna then you're only having one woman. How they book stuff on the main roster, that means you get one women's match
But
on the main
but
roster.
um,
spend 2 minutes on a main
If you're
roster show
only if you're
plugging.
only keeping the tag team division of the tag team belts on one show, Raw and SmackDown, you're gonna have a lot less women
So
on
so
associated shows.
here's my solution. If we're gonna get it right, have it go both ways. So have NXT talent go to SmackDown or Raw and challenge for those titles. Have the champions, the Unholy Union at this very moment, come to NXT and defend the titles as well. Have it happen.
So, so it's hold on. Let
So
me.
keep it
So
how it is then.
keep it like as is, except the champions
Have
stay
to
on
do it
their show.
right.
The challengers go to them, in opposed to the
Yes.
champions coming around.
Yes.
Because then
That's
this,
what I'm thinking.
so in this case, the Unholy Union is our SmackDown talent. Metaphor would go to SmackDown for the title match.
Right. To give the time. Exactly,
Okay.
Drizzy.
Okay.
And that's where I'm thinking, like, that's the only way. Now, is it realistic? Probably not. Wishful
Yeah, that
thinking?
ain't
Happen.
Wishful thinking?
Yeah, that ain't happening. But
Yeah. Yeah. I would be fired up about it. It would be amazing if they could pull it off. And it would be a way to build the, to me, and I always say the division, maybe because I'm so stuck on boxing and MMA all the time. But like, building the division itself, the tag division, having not one number one contender, but a second or third on the rise. And somebody maybe that's falling off, that you might be able to build a storyline around them breaking up. For narrative's sake, it all fits.
I
And,
think the only way to do it is probably to just and I know that WWE is not gonna do it. Is just go ahead and have a woman specific brand. I feel like that's the only
well, I mean,
way to
that would
do
be
that,
amazing.
and that
That'd
would
be
be the
dope,
dream.
but
But this also will require people to
Yeah.
actually put their money behind it because women and it's almost in everything. Things don't flourish if you don't support it. If you the fire doesn't burn if you don't
yeah.
give it air. So if you're not gonna put your money and talk about put your money behind these women, put your time behind these women, sit there and be going crazy for them the way we go crazy for Bianca and Jade. We need to do the exact same thing for like Lash, Jakara, Jasmine, JC,
Yes.
like all these other women's tag teams and stuff, and all these in fact women's wrestling in general. It's the only way to truly push it even further.
I'm 100% with you there and in agreement. Let's do move on to our next topic because we've only got a couple left before our moments of the week.
Yeah.
We got Tavion Heights, Tony D, Heritage Cup
Good.
rules.
That ain't Tavion Heights. That's David Kemp.
I know exactly what it is.
David Kemp, Tony, Tavion Heights, tomato, tomato.
I told you not to type it wrong in the teleprompter. I read it like Ron Burgundy.
It's
It's
right.
right.
I said Tavion Heights.
Yeah, no,
I know
it's
I
right.
wrote it
It's
right. He's
right.
messing with you.
I
It's
know.
right.
I know.
Like I completely played
All right.
along with that.
I'm
I
in
had
on the
to.
bit.
Then, bro.
Okay, whatever. Heights and Tony D, Heritage Cup. Anyway, I had a whole spiel on the fact that we all watched Bloodsport this weekend, and I like this little MMA crossover-ish stuff, and that's why I like the Heritage Cup so much. We get a number of fisherman suplexes. Shout out Mr. Perfect out of Tony D, and Tony D retains the cup. He's the cup winner. His cup is runnething over, whatever that means. He's won. I enjoyed it. Shoddy, future of the Heritage Cup. Do you like the format or not?
Nah, I don't like it right now. I'll be honest with you. It's boring now. Tony D'Angelo has made this Heritage Cup kind of boring for me at this point. Um, I don't know. It's kind of like rinse repeat. He's going against these guys who are, wrestlers, part of the new Quarter Catch crew. We've seen different variations of it constantly. He's become Thanos to these matches, and I get it. Initially, I did like it, right? I thought it was interesting because it's kind of an oxymoron. This is a guy who's not your quote unquote pro wrestler esque person tied to it, and he's winning matches and all of that. But I don't know. It's just it's not that fun to me with him as the Heritage Cup champion at this point. It's starting to kind of get a little bit still. I do like Tony D'Angelo a lot. I'd like to see him do other stuff, especially within his faction, and I want to see more from the family. I feel like the family hasn't, the other aspects of it, right? The Riz, the Crucifino, the Stacks, like I don't see them as much in doing stuff within storyline. So I'd like to see them all in totality do something. And whether it plays within the Heritage Cup, maybe it's just we need something more fresh or a competitor that's fresh for Tony D'Angelo. But at the moment, it is a little bit boring for me. Uh, Good showing from Tavion Heights. Also, I think Tavion Heights is an incredible professional wrestler. Obviously, he noted his accolades. He's a former Olympian within Greco style, Greco-Roman wrestling and whatnot. And I love everything that's kind of tied with the Ren Sinclair, coming in, trying to be joining the team and trying to motivate him and all that. I thought it was interesting, but I don't know. This match just didn't click to me that much. It kind of was a little boring for me. So
Uh, Fair. I did think personally it was one of the better wrestled matches of the night, and I was fascinated by you mentioned the Greco-Roman acumen. He was punked out by that fisherman suplex. That's an upper body suplex. That's Greco-Roman 101, and he got nailed by Tony D on that.
yeah,
So I was a little like I love the narrative, but I do hear where you're coming from on the Heritage Cup can be a bit stale from time to time, especially with some funky commercial breaks like we discussed earlier. Drizzy,
yeah.
though, what did you think about Tavion's showing against Tony D in this Heritage Cup match?
It was decent. I don't have a dislike for the brand of how the cup is used and done. I don't think they're doing anything different than they did when Noam Dar had it. The issue is, I think Tony D'Angelo's style is boring for the cup. I don't think that style is captivating when you're doing the uh, Heritage Cup. His style fits normal wrestling. It's you're trying to fit a round peg in a square hole at this point, and it just isn't working in my eyes. I feel like we need to go ahead and try and get a wrestler holding the cup, or maybe as a different character that can hold it. But currently, I feel like Tony D's character is too strong for the cup, and it hinders him and the family. Because, like what Shad was saying, it kind of pigeonholed them. They're all stuck in that whirlpool now, and we need to get the family back out into the actual thing of wrestling of the show now. Like get them back in the tag division, get Tony
That
in the North American title or back in the world title picture because that whole run at Stand and Deliver, I was into it. I was ready for Tony to be the main
Driz, that
event.
is a beautiful way to quantify that.
Yeah.
Like that is exactly that makes a and Shad to your earlier point, dude. But Drizzy, like that adds up perfectly where it's like, hey, it's not about Tony D being no good. It's not about the Heritage Cup being no good. It's about the fact that it's holding up the rest of the family,
Hmm.
right? And
Yeah.
that's what it truly comes down
Yeah,
to.
that's what I was saying too. Like
Yeah,
they're not doing anything. It's just I don't know, man.
And
I,
and it's
I'm with
It's
you both
really
on that.
boring.
I'm
and
in
and
full agreement there.
and I don't know if if a character can hold that. Like if it was the no quarter catch
Yeah.
crew holding it, or what Metaphor did with it, it makes sense. And I don't,
And
and I really think,
Noam Dar is a significantly better worker for that style. Like to your point,
yeah, like
Yeah,
I think that's kind of
fits it
where,
better.
and I think that's probably where where NXT got the idea. Well, Noam Dar is a character. Maybe we could put this on Tony D, who is also a character, and make it work. Where, but Noam Dar's style fits it better than Tony D's.
yeah.
I'm with you there. Okay, our second to last segment of the evening, though. I believe in Joe Hendry. Say his
Gal-
name and he appears, and he's there.
Gallus don't believe in him.
It's a concert. He has a concert before Gallus ruins it. Ruined ruined the whole thing, Drizzy.
What'd you say?
They ruined it. They ruined it.
Why are you saying it like that?
It's been ruined.
Gallus ruins my enjoyment of the show anytime they step on to my TV screen, man.
It's ruined. Joe Hendry was going to play not just one classic, two classics, but a third classic, and the one we were all waiting for, the big main event. I believe in Joe Hendry. What does Gallus do? They come out, they break his guitar, some sort of Jeff Jarrett knockoff scenario. It's ridiculous. They think just because they're all from Scotland, they can come out and interrupt a concert here in the United States of America. Where was security when we needed them? Where was Trick Williams? Where were any of Joe Hendry's friends? What happened? What happened? I was enjoying a concert. I was enjoying a concert. I was enjoying music, live music, for the first time all week. Sitting back, Tuesday night, Taco Tuesday in some places, and no, not so fast, my friends. In the words of Lee Corso, nope. Gallus ruins it. Ruins it. I'm disgusted. And I am all around disgusted. Joe Hendry deserves better, and he needs teammates because he's not going to beat all three of them at once. And I don't even think he could beat Joe Coffey 1-on-3 because that's what it's going to end up being. So he needs some teammates. And that's what I really want to ask you guys about is how do we solve this Joe Hendry gets to play the end of his music problem in the future because he needs to play the end of his music. I can't have him getting cut off during a concert, especially one that was that electric. With original lyrics. He had original lyrics. He was right there. He was 1 second from championship gold, basically. I mean, this is probably going to only do like 5 million viral views. Not our video, but his. And then it could have been 15 if they let him play it. What if they let him play it? These guys with the goofy beards,
Bad facial hair.
The bad facial hair. Thank you, Drizzy. What do we do about this, Driz? How do we solve this problem?
I'm not sure we can. Gallus is inevitable. No, I don't know who Joe could go to in the back. I know Trick Williams has a match next week, so he's gonna be indisposed. The Rascals have a match; they're gonna be indisposed. Do we look to TNA for like, hey, I need some backup guys? Do we do that? I don't know. Maybe we. I know he's not on good terms with the system. I truly do not know. This would be one of those perfect times where you could go to the main roster and you go get someone like a Sheamus and like, hey, Sheamus, I need your help. Or I go get Ilya for a one night to come back and just kind of rid Gallus for the night or something. Like that might be the answers to it, but honestly, I feel like it may end up being something where we get somebody that we're not thinking of.
I love that. Shad, your pick before I give mine because I think I know who it is. I think I know who it is.
I'm going with a familiar face to WWE. Two guys that would, save anybody in any situation. Legends. I'm going with the Hardy Boys. I'm going with Matt and Jeff Hardy, who are on TNA at the moment, coming back to WWE. We hear the dun 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 dun, the music hits, and you get Matt and Jeff Hardy popping out, helping Joe Hendry against Gallus. If I was to pick people, I would pick them. You call me crazy, at least you calling me something. I'm going with the Hardy Boys.
I love it. The
Good
Hardys
pick.
is a
That's actually a
solid
good.
pick.
That's actually a really good pick. I like that idea.
I believe his time is now. And it's the doctor of thugonomics, John Cena
You literally just missed.
himself.
You literally just missed the opportunity to sit there. It is John Cena. Come up. We
It's
need to get
John
that.
Cena.
You gotta get that. We have to get that.
Do, 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 do.
Ben, what do we have to do to up our budget so we're like chaos and have his style of production? What do we got to do?
John Cena. It's gonna be Cena. It's gotta be Cena and Hendry. If we're gonna do a retirement tour and we don't get a Cena Hendry tag team, I'm gonna be the most disappointed I think I've ever been. We need jorts and sports. We need say their names and they appear as a team. We need a run, maybe even a title run. Honest to goodness. I mean, Hendry's basically wearing the Ruthless Aggression Cena shorts anyway already. It makes perfect sense. We need Cena and Hendry. I don't even know who we get for the third. Maybe like
I mean,
maybe
Cena is
R-Truth.
strong enough that he handles both. He handles at
yeah,
least three of them by himself anyway. All three of them by himself. So
Just get truth, man.
Truth. Cena, Truth. Well, that's four because then you get little Jimmy too.
It's the most unserious team
That's
ever.
four. That's 4-on-3 at that point because then Truth brings little Jimmy with him, and obviously it's a handicap match at that point. Against Gallus. Yeah. Truth, little Jimmy, Cena, Hendry against Gallus. Watch out, Coffee Brothers. It's gonna get ugly here on NXT.
coffee on coffee violence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Trust me, there's less spilled coffee at Starbucks than after that tag team.
Boo Starbucks.
No, I mean, I'm not a big Starbucks fan, although I will say the maple scones rock solid on the road. Those things are good. Let's get into our moments of the night though. Let's do moments of the night and then let's go home. Shadi, you want to go moment of the night first?
Yeah, I go moment of the night. My moment of the night, you know what? We talked about it. The thing I enjoyed the most tonight was Roxanne Perez retaining her title uh in the matchup with Thea Hill. Like I said earlier, I don't think we've had a more dominant women's champion on NXT since Asuka than Roxanne Perez. I think she's doing incredible work. I thought her and Thea Hill was an incredible match. Very underrated TV match, and I thought it was the highlight of the show tonight. So Roxanne Thea Hale title match with Roxanne winning is my moment of the night.
Boom. Beautiful Drizzy, your moment of the night.
My moment of the night was the absolute very beginning with Hank and Tank. Underrated comedy from both of them all night long, but that beginning was something special. And it's some I don't know why they're not on TV more because that just brought so much joy and it was so hilarious. The firewall joke hilarious. Like
Yes.
you can't there's just there's timing that you just can't coach, and those two have it. We need to put them on TV more now, and they're gonna be so sorely missed when they go to the main roster. They're gonna give our truth a run for his money when it comes to the comedy wrestling.
I am with you 100%. Great moment of the night. For me, my moment of the night, you only get to see a legitimate concert every now and again, and usually you gotta buy tickets. I gotta go with Big Joe Hendry on the guitar. I mean, it's like Earth, Wind, and Fire, the Rolling Stones, Billy Joel, Grateful Dead. You get these tours that are just so special, and you need to buy tickets and you need to tune in when they happen and they have a guitar in their hand. Usually it doesn't end with it being broken over their back, but that's neither here nor there. Monster shout out Joe Hendry. That's my moment of the night. That does bring us to the end of the show, though, my friends. It has been an excellent Tuesday as usual. On behalf of myself, Clark Taylor, Drizzy, Shad. If you haven't liked and subscribed already, do it. What are you waiting for? Tune in every single Tuesday. It's of the utmost importance. More important than that, check us out on the daily. That's going to be hours earlier than this, about 7 hours and 15 minutes if you're doing math. I don't like to do that, but if you are, that's noon Pacific, that's 3 in the East, that's 8 in the UK, that's of course 9 a.m. in Hawaii. Have an excellent Tuesday night. Talk to everybody.